just your story. Where did you grow up? From there to how did brass tacks happen? Just yeah.
Um, I grew up in Chennai.
Okay.
I lived here, studied here until my 10th grade.
Okay.
I went to boarding school near Pune for my 11th and 12th.
Okay.
And I took a year off between 12th and college.
Okay.
And it was a time for me to just travel, explore the country. I worked with a few different nonprofits. I did a lot of theater, a lot of volunteer work.
Okay.
And then I went to the States to study economics. I did my undergrad there.
Okay.
And after that, I worked at an economic analysis firm in New York.
Okay.
I did that for 2 years, and during that entire time, I was thinking about brass tacks and starting this clothing line. And so one day, I just decided that I need to do it now, and I was really impatient. I think that's been my shortcoming, but also something that drives me.
Okay.
And I had the support of my parents who were like, if you wanted to do this, then it's going to be a lot of hard work, but we're here to support you. So I moved back to Chennai in 2006 and started brass tacks in early 2007.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So what about the story of brass tacks? I read online that your mother has a textile company of sorts. Is it? I'm not sure about the details. So is it just from her, or so? What's the story of that?
So my mom and her partner started a sari retail business when I was born, or actually when she was pregnant with me.
Okay.
I don't know how people can, have a family and start a business at the same time. But I'm the youngest of three,
Okay.
and she decided that raising three children wasn't challenging enough, so she started a business with her partner.
Okay.
And growing up, I was never told to learn anything about her business. I was never even taught, this is cotton, this is silk, and this is kalamkari, and this is ikat. But my mom did bring a lot of her work home, or sometimes if I finished school early, then I would go to her office and I'd be doing homework over there until she was ready to go home. So I think I was just surrounded by those textiles, and her aesthetic taste and sense has really influenced mine.
Right.
And then I never really thought about it until I went to college and then worked in New York. And when I was working in New York, it was the first time when I was living in the States and earning money and ready to do a little bit of shopping. And I would go around to different stores, and I found that I really gravitated towards strong silhouettes with sharp tailoring, clothes that were really well cut. And every time I would see a dress or a jacket or a top, I would think to myself, oh, this is such a cool design, or this is really a cool draped idea, but wouldn't it look great in this ikat fabric or this ajrak fabric or a natural textile that I know about from home? And that's when it started really out of personal longing. I longed to see clothes that were made out of Indian textiles, but not the straight cut, really simplistic stuff that you often see in the market. I wanted to see them styled well. I wanted to see a fashion forward version of these traditional textile crafts. And I thought to myself, well, I've lived outside Chennai for 6 years now. This was when I was living in New York. And I thought to myself, somebody must have thought of this already, because there are tons of students that go to design school. And so I came to Chennai for one of my vacations, and I scouted around, and I thought to myself, there must be somebody who's doing this already. And I found there were two ends of a spectrum. There were brands like Fabindia that provide really good value for money, but unnecessarily fashion forward. And then you have the high-end labels, which are fashionable in a way, but not necessarily really well cut, and they're not really affordable either. And there's this huge void in between, and I wanted to create a brand that was just really well cut, well tailored clothes. I'm not trying to create clothes that are going to be the next edgy thing in fashion trends. I'm not trying to create something that's a red carpet dress. It's just really well made, well tailored, with a focus on good quality, good quality fabrics and strong silhouettes. Every garment that we make has to be shapely.
Okay.
So that's really what brass tacks is about. And yeah, my aesthetic influence has been my mother's taste in saris and handloom textiles, but she no longer works, and our companies are completely different.
Okay. Okay. Right. So I think Brass Tacks is not just in Chennai now, right? Uh, are you in other cities as
Uh,
well, or how does that
well,
work?
my own store is in Chennai, and I retail through other stores
Okay.
in Bombay and Bangalore,
Okay.
and we also have an online store.
All right. Okay. 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 All right. So, what about your inspiration for just what makes you wake up every day and do this? Right. Why do you just run to your workshop and say, "Oh, well, this is what I want to do today"?
I think part of it is that impatience to get an idea out. Part of it is because it's my own business. I don't know if I would be this way if I was working for somebody else. I think when it's your own business, it's your own baby, and you're so emotionally tied to it, and you're always striving for perfection, even if you're not there. It's just work in progress, right? You always want to do something better. You always want to see if you can create a system that's, I don't know, human proof, foolproof within, in terms of administration, within the way the company works. You always want to create designs that people love and that you also love creating. And in the world of textiles, it's just so much going on in India. I've participated in a textile and garment exhibition in Coimbatore a couple of weeks ago. And it was such a cool experience because I got to meet all these other designers from all over the country, and they're all doing such interesting work. And last week we had the World Craft Council have their Golden Jubilee Curtain Raiser Summit in Chennai, and there was so much stuff going on. And again, it was like, stimulation and a lot of inspiring ideas. And when you have all of that around you, I think it's really easy to find inspiration and the energy and motivation to wake up every day and run to your workshop and create, because it's there all around you. People are doing it. People are doing it under really harsh conditions. And so I think for an urban designer with access to simple infrastructure that we take for granted, like an air-conditioned office and good roads and internet, it's actually a lot easier.
True. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's great. What about your typical day? How is it? So, do you go to your shop, workshop? How do you split your time between this?
I usually spend the first couple of hours working from home because I find that I'm a morning person, and when I wake up in the morning, my mind is clear and it's just easier to work on stuff where I need to work on it alone. And I often find that when I go to the workshop, even though I have an office space, it's really hard to get uninterrupted time. And that's something I really need for creative work. So I usually do most of my creative work and my design planning in the morning, and I don't try not to answer too many emails or take too many phone calls. And then I go to the workshop and I spend a few hours there. A lot of it is actually troubleshooting. Anybody who runs a business will tell you that a lot of the time is just spent solving problems and training people, guiding people. So I spend a lot of time doing that. I spend a lot of time with my production manager talking about production schedule, what's the status of different styles, when are they going to get done. I spend some time with my pattern maker reviewing the next set of styles that we're working on together. I might try on a few samples, give him feedback. And then I come back to the city in the afternoon. And depending on the day, depending on how late I come back, whether it's afternoon or night, I might either go to the store for 10 minutes or I might go there and spend a couple of hours there. So that's my schedule from Monday to Friday. And Saturday I spend all day at the store, except for a lunch break, because that's when most of our customers stop by, and I think it's really important for me to get that first-hand feedback from them. And it's also important for me to get FaceTime with customers, for them to know what the brand is about and the work that we're doing, for them to hear from a designer's perspective what each style is supposed to fit like and what the dresses are supposed to drape like. And so yeah, that's what I do. And then Sundays I used to spend a lot of time doing creative work, but this year I decided that I should take Sundays off.
Okay.
So I don't work on Sundays anymore.
All right. So I see that you talk a lot about your team. Even on Facebook, I've seen a lot of. I've seen you giving importance to them. bringing them under the spotlight and stuff, which I feel
Yeah.
is very, very nice because, I mean, they are part of the system as well and they are helping you bring everything together and put it out there on the shelves. So, how do you, what do you think about that? As in, yeah.
They're really crucial part of the organization. Earlier when I was saying that anybody in business will tell you that they spend a lot of time troubleshooting, I think any business where so much of your work depends on people and people skills, you spend a lot of time in management and hiring people, training people, figuring out ways to retain people. And sometimes I think to myself, wow, I've had people who joined Brass Tacks 5 years ago and they've been with me since. And they're really crucial, key people. They're people whom I can depend on. They're people who I can call up in the morning and say, I have an emergency. I'm not coming to work today. Can you just run the show? And I know that it's in good hands and they're going to take care of things. And I'm so grateful for that. And it really is true what I say on Facebook, that they're the ones who make it happen.
Yeah.
I can sit and draw a sketch and order fabric, but who's going to make it all come together?
Yes. Yeah.
So the Facebook thing is really a celebration of the cool team that I have. They understand my short temper, my impatience. They understand my high standards and how finicky I am about the little details, and they understand that that's what makes the brand special. And I think to have a team like that, even if it's small, to have a team like that is really precious. And they're fun people too, as you can probably see from some of the photos and the videos. So I thought it'd be nice for customers, for Brass Tacks customers, to see who's really creating the clothes that they're wearing.
Yep. I thought it was really cool, when I saw the video from the Night Stars maxis where everybody was like doing stuff, and I was like, this is really cool, I can see the thing happening there. So yeah, that was nice. So what are some of your biggest learnings so far, Annika? You've been at this more than 5 years now, right?
5 years and 4 months. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that have stood out, like from before you started this Brass Tacks and from until up until now?
Some of the things that I've learned.
Yeah. So just it might just be that people are important. It might just be like working in the night is not good. I don't know. just things like that.
There's so many things, really. I think when I started a business, people always told me it's going to be hard work. But hard work is actually a really abstract word when you think about it, at least for me, after running a business for so long. Hard work to me always meant there's going to be a lot of time that you need to put into the business, which I never had a problem with. But I think the difficult thing is the kind of work that you have to do. And I think that the really hard part is that the kind of problems that you face when you run a business are sort of relentless. It's like today it could be a tailor issue, tomorrow it could be a sales staff issue, a third day it could be, your rent just got jacked up, or it's something or the other, and it's kind of, it's non-stop, and I think it's really, really hard to cope with that. So I always try to stick to a few things that make me happy and give me a little bit of a breather from all of that, because to find the energy and motivation to go to work every day with a positive attitude, despite all of the million things that need to be attended to, all the million curveballs that get thrown your way. To be able to deal with that, I think you need to find a few things that make you happy, a few things that are kind of like time out from your work, whether it's sleeping well or maybe watching a movie on one weeknight every week, or making time for friends. I think that's a mistake I made in the first couple of years. I always kept on saying, I'm too busy, I've got no time for this, got no time for that. But it's so important, I think, because when you run a business, you're working so much in isolation. The people who work with you are not really your colleagues, because they're also working for you, and you miss out on that interaction with your peers and having a network if you're only going to be working all the time. So I make sure that I find time to exercise and to sleep well and to catch up with people and have fun despite difficult times at work, or even actually, especially when you're having a hard time at work, it's so much more important to do that so that you get some perspective and you don't start feeling cynical about everything.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah, I've come to my final question, which is, if there is one advice or a couple of things that you want to tell to the viewers who are seeing this, from your experience, what would that one thing or a couple of things be?
Um, I think uh, just one. I don't know. I think maybe that what I just said. Finding the time to do a few things that you really enjoy, so that you don't start feeling cynical. Because it's so important when you run a business to constantly keep standards high, to constantly push for improvement, to constantly motivate your staff. And it can be really hard actually when you're having a tough time at work, when you're going through a rough patch, you've got bills to pay, you've got expense receipts coming in, and you still have to go to work every day and smile and motivate everybody else.
Yeah.
They can let you know that they're down, but you can't let them know that you're down.
Yeah.
And in order to be able to do that, then you need to be able to have some fun. And of course, you choose to do what you love doing, and people are naturally good at what they love doing. But I think it's naive to say that just because I love designing means that every single minute of my day is fantastic. Actually, no, I don't spend, I spend less than 20% of my time designing, and most of the time goes in management, operations, figuring out how to scale the business, marketing, and everything else. So my one piece of advice is to keep standards really high and to constantly strive to motivate other people. But in order to find energy to do that, you also be able to stick to a few things outside of work. Maybe
Yeah.
it can even be like I said earlier, exercise and good sleep.
Yeah.
That helps you find that positive energy every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah.